Good morning, everyone. It is 9:30. We're going to call the September 9th, 2025 meeting of the Mill Creek Township Supervisors to order. Would you please rise for the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 3 on the agenda is public comment on agenda items other than development or rezoning applications.
Now we only need our name, is that it?
Yes.
Cool. Good morning, thank you for letting me speak. My name is Candy Horn, and I want to make some comments on what you are going to pass for the bill for $3.1 million. I was going through some of the older supervisor meetings, and I think this was when Harry Morgan was a supervisor. Let me find my,
Maybe John Morgan.
or John, I'm sorry, John Morgan, my apologies. And he made a comment. As you are aware, our predecessor on the board elected to sell the assets of the Mill Creek Township Water Authority, your waterworks, for the sum of $20 million, back in 2015. In 2016, I was an advocate on this board to put those funds in an investment account and not to put those funds into the general fund in order to keep those funds separate, to allow them to gain interest and to have accountability that they would not just disappear into the general fund, but we would have opportunities like this to publicly announce how those funds will be dispersed. That investment fund has to date produced about $1.7 million in interest. Now this is in 2021, so we're 4 years ahead, okay? And let me go to the next page. I don't know who Brother Grant is, but he said there were other funds from the settlement agreements with every waterworks that Brother Grant holds, about $3 million in this fund, and that's not counting the principal $20 million. So we do have about $3 million that are available. So where is that money? Is it invested? And if we do have it, why do you need to take a loan? According to the Mill Creek magazine, and this is a letter from the supervisors, the General Authority targeted the Gateway Corridor by leveraging township resources and millions in grant funding to reinvigorate the entrance to Presque Isle. As Mill Creek looks into the future, the township is financially secure, retains minimal debt, and is prioritizing future tax revenues. Because of investments made, the future of Mill Creek is safe and secure. So what are the investments, and what happened to the interest on the water authority money? That is what I would like to know, because why do you need to ask for a loan if you have money and interest that you could tap? Am I making sense? Anybody? Nobody wants to speak?
Go ahead.
Yes, though that money is invested. It is invested with First National Bank, with their wealth management division. I think at the end of 2024, we were looking at about a $10.3 million, $10.6 million balance in that. It is earmarked for capital projects and major infrastructure projects.
10.4 interest?
No, total in the account.
Okay.
The interest is in there. We decided, well, I can't say we decided, we haven't voted on anything. We had discussed, and I had recommended issuing debt. We do have very low debt. Right now, our general obligation debt is about $283,000, and we have about $1.9 million in equipment financing debt that we took out last year to purchase fire trucks. I had recommended that we take a loan out for the not to exceed $3.3 million for this purchase, because this will be an income-producing property. We did not want to deplete those funds any longer or any more than we already had in the purchase of the loan to the, not the loan, I guess I shouldn't say, to the money given to the authority to purchase the properties. So that was just my recommendation, to take out the debt. We do have a $50 million borrowing base. I am not thinking that we would ever get anywhere close to that. We do not have any intention of taking out any further debt, but for something that is something like this to pay out over the next 15 years, I think just makes financial sense instead of dipping into those reserves.
So what about John Morgan's statement that this fund from the Water Authority was not to be used for frivolous things like buying the 8th Street property, buying the Shrine Club? You know, it's supposed to be used for infrastructure. And as far as I'm looking at, buying buildings is real estate, it's not infrastructure. Those are my comments.
Well, I remember John making that comment. I think the main crux of his statement dealt with not putting the water proceeds, mixing them into the general fund where they would just be absorbed into the general fund and in effect would give us somewhat of a false sense of security there, and where we would just, if it was in the general fund, we would say, well, let's use it on X, Y, or Z because it's there.
And
right?
just use it on operations versus
Right.
using it towards
that was
some type of a
that was
project.
the main focus of his statement as to why he wanted it kept in a separate fund, and it has been.
Okay.
We have.
That was all. That was my comment. Thank you for your time.
Sure.
Thank you. Item 4 on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the August 26th regular meeting. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Moving on to item 5, approval of the bills. Is there a motion to approve the bills?
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 6 is new and amended ordinances under review. Attorney Caparosa?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There are 2 items that are currently under review. The saldo, which we're working towards finalizing that with meetings with planning and development as well as engineering, and then also updates to the fines and penalties ordinance. This has been ongoing just to consolidate and to streamline and update so that everything is similar across the board and equally applied. I'm hoping to get that finalized here in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you. Item 7 is ordinance 2025-5, an ordinance of the Township of Mill Creek, Erie County, Pennsylvania, authorizing the incurrence of non-electoral debt by the township pursuant to the Local Government Unit Debt Act as amended through the issuance of the township's general obligation note series of 2025 in the principal amount of not to exceed $3.3 million. Attorney Caparosa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before you is the ordinance 2025-5, which pursuant to the Local Government Unit Debt Act, also known as LAGUDA, would authorize the township to incur non-electoral debt pursuant to issuance of a note that would be through First National Bank with a not-to-exceed amount of $3.3 million. Pursuant to the act, we are required to adopt an ordinance authorizing this issuance and then seek final approval from DCED relative to the issuance of the note and loan with FNB. So this has been advertised pursuant to the LUGUDA requirements, and once we vote and if it is approved, that would be submitted to DCED for review and approval so that we can move forward with the loan. It authorizes the chair to exercise and execute all documents required. The terms of the note are as follows. again, it's up to $3.3 million to finance the purchase of the property located at 2525 West 38th Street. The maturity would be 15 years from the date of the note, and the rates would be at 5 years of a bank-qualified tax-exempt adjustable rate. As of September 4th, that rate would be about 4.18%. On the 5th and 10th anniversaries of the note, the rates would change based on the applicable current tax-free factor, which may be the 5-year rate plus 1.25% with a maximum of 8% per annum. And again, this would be for a total of 15-year amortization. And I don't know if Melanie has anything else to add relative to that.
No, I mean, I think you pretty much covered it.
And
This would be an annual, let me find my paper. This would be an annual debt service of about $378,000. This was something that we had forecasted and included into the budget for 2025 and in future years. Does anybody have any questions? Anything on this?
I have a few comments, just, I think for the audience, all they see is the ordinance, correct? Or don't they even see that? They don't really see any of the, I know Lydia summarized it, but they're not seeing the total amortization of the,
it's all included as part of the ordinance, and per the ad, there is an indication that if you'd like to see a copy of it, you can request it from the township secretary.
okay, you don't have to do a right to know?
No.
Okay, so that's available,
Should someone ask for it, that's
okay,
typically
but
the
they
practice.
can't see it today, is my point. I mean,
No, but this was
I
advertised.
just think we need to let them know what the total, you covered annually, but let's be upfront about the total cost of this. It's, all they're seeing is the 3.3 million, and I just feel we should be a little more transparent in letting them know over 15 years, we have the chart in front of us, but nobody else does.
Does this ordinance also approve the financing? Or is this just the ordinance that will go to the DCED for approval?
The ordinance approves the financing.
Okay.
So it includes, as part of this as exhibits, is the commitment letter from FNB, that's Exhibit A, as well as the form of the note. And this was published, I believe it went in the paper last Monday or Sunday, the 31st.
So I can
Maybe
summarize real quick.
just give it's 4.18%.
4.18%. This is a 5-year bank-qualified tax-exempt rate. It is an adjustable rate that will adjust on the 5th and 10th anniversary of the note. As of this point in time, as of September 4th, it is 4.18%. The tax-exempt rate will be reset based on the applicable current tax-free factor, which is the sum of the Federal Home Loan Bank 5-year rate plus 1.25%, up to a maximum of 8% per annum. The above rate is for indicative purposes only. The actual initial 5-year rate will be determined 5 business days prior to closing. Do not see that changing. It has been, since they gave us our original proposal back in July, it has only changed actually went down by 0.03%. This would be monthly principal and interest payments based on a 15-year amortization, and we may prepay all or a portion of the loan without penalty or interest rate, on the interest rate change date, so at the 5 years. Otherwise, if we would prepay it on any other date, there would be a 1% penalty on the prepaid amount. We would be looking at, and like I said, an annual debt service of $378,438, and in total, and in total is, as we know right now, because there will be rate changes at the 5-year and 10-year mark, we would be looking at paying principal of $3.3 million and interest over the 15 years of $2,376,573.
Thank you.
One second. $2,376,000.
Any further comments or questions from the board? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to approve ordinance 2025-5?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, and I will second. Been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
I vote no.
And I vote yes. Motion's carried. Item 8 on the agenda is Resolution 2025-R35, resolution pursuant to Resolution 2015-R20, the Municipal Records Manual to approve the proposed disposition of certain township records. Attorney Caparosa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you mentioned, before you is a resolution to approve the disposal of certain municipal records maintained by the police department that are reaching the end of their retention period. Those records include, to be disposed include MVR and BWC test recordings from July 11th, 2025 through July 24th, 2025, traffic stops from June 11th, 2025 through June 24th, 2025, incident-only and special circumstance recordings from September 8th, 2023 through September 21st, 2023, and case report / arrest report / SRR unknowns from September 8th, 2005 to September 21, 2005. My recommendation would be to approve disposition of those records.
Okay, any comments or questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Moving on to bids and quotations, the firehouse feasibility study.
Yes, thank you. And Cheryl, just so I make sure, in the agenda packet you sent this morning, does that have the updated scope? Okay, thank you. Before you is a proposal from MW Architecture Master Planning relative to a firehouse feasibility study. My recollection was that we sent out a request for proposals for this information to get responses, and we got a number of responses back on architecture firms for the design and implementation of a firehouse. As part of that would include a feasibility study of evaluating the location for a Bell Valley Fire Station and moving forward with that. And the various architecture firms were interviewed and reviewed, and this was recommended that MW Studios Architecture Master Planning be retained to perform that feasibility study. And the scope of that would be including multiple phases, but with a total cost of, let me get to that page, for a lump sum for defined professional services relative to this feasibility study would be $63,000. And that includes reviewing the location for the proposed firehouse. There would be additional reimbursable expenses not to exceed $6,000 for printing, mileage, and long-distance travel. And this would also be subject to final approval of a professional services agreement with MW Architecture Studios.
Okay, and if I may add, this was a unanimous approval from the Mill Creek Fire Commission to approve MW Studios to do this feasibility study. Does the board have any comments or questions?
Dan, I was hoping Chief Cliff would be here, but maybe you can answer just, so is the goal of this study to evaluate that we need a new station, period? A new Bell Valley station, period? Or is it to evaluate we need a new location for the station?
I think it's both, Jim. So I don't think there's any doubt in anybody's mind that, Bell Valley does sit in a floodplain. It's been heavily damaged twice over the last 15 to 20 years, incurring, I would estimate, around $1 million in damage. So there's no question that the station needs to be relocated. So part of this study, obviously, is, looking at the location for a new station, determining what properties may or may not be available. And we're also evaluating response times, and this is a pretty intensive evaluation of the Bell Valley area. But it's also incorporated into looking at the township as a whole, and what's going to best serve Bell Valley, but also serve into the Kearsarge area also. So that's part of what they'll be tasked with doing.
Okay, I guess one of my concerns is that, let's just say the evaluation shows that the best spot for this building is, in a parcel that will never, ever be available. It would be on private property that's not, for whatever reason, wouldn't be buildable, that the person wouldn't want to sell it. And I'm just concerned about spending $63,000 for a report that could really yield not a lot of fruit. I mean, I think you and I have been around long enough. We know where the locations are now that would be feasible. I guess my question is, why can't we just focus on those locations without doing a study, I guess, is my concern. We know obviously the St. Nick's Grove property's been discussed. We already own the East Side Garage. There's the county property.
Well, I think the value that this brings is that, you have a professional company, architects that are doing this evaluation. They're looking at things a lot deeper than I think that we would look at them, and I think that that's where we get the value from a professional contract like this.
Okay.
And they will have a recommendation on property that would be attainable, not something to the contrary.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Any other comments from the board?
I do also want to comment, my understanding from Attorney Shaw is, he reviewed all the proposals we received, and that this firm is very well qualified and has done a lot of firehouse work in the past. And so they were the Fire Commission and from Attorney Shaw, very pleased with this firm.
Okay. Hearing no further comments, is there a motion to approve this feasibility study?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, and I will second. Mrs. Clear, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next item under bids and quotations is manhole rings and inserts. Mr. Puda?
Thank you and good morning. The Sewer Department is requesting to purchase 18-each 3-inch grade rings from Watercast Precast for the quoted price of $3,380.76. Also, they are requesting to purchase 24-each 2-inch grade rings for the quoted price of $2,384.40, 18-each 4-inch grade rings for the quoted price of $3,081.60, and 12-each manhole inserts for the quoted price of $1,575 from LB Water under CoStar's number 016026. Total cost for these items is $10,421.76. Funding for these purchases will come from the sewer materials and supplies line item of the sewer revenue fund. I recommend approving these purchases.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 10 is National Opioid Settlement Agreement with Secondary Manufacturers. Attorney Caparosa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you recall, over the last couple of years, the township has participated in several opioid settlements. And most recently, we approved one in August. The documents before you relate to a settlement that was obtained relative to secondary opioid manufacturers, Alvogen, Amneal, Apotex, Hikma, Indivior, Mylan, Sun, and Zydus. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is participating in this settlement agreement, and therefore that makes the township eligible to participate as a subdivision of the Commonwealth. The forms before you authorize the township to opt into participating in the settlement such that we can be included as part of the initial participation calculations and payment eligibility under the settlement. We don't know how much the Commonwealth and therefore the township might receive as part of the settlement, but this is just authorizing us to opt in to participate. We need to submit the signed authorization by October 8th of 2025. Recommendation would be to approve participation in this settlement and authorize the chair to execute all necessary documents.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for Attorney Caparosa? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
I vote yes. Item 11 is a 2025 Summer Infrastructure Overtime Agreement. This is between Mill Creek Township and AFSCME on recommendation from Public Works Director Puda. There's plenty of work yet to be done this summer on many projects throughout the township, and this just extends the overtime agreement Monday through Thursday with our labor force to get these projects completed. This would be until September 25th, and at the time that the infrastructure overtime agreement will be terminated. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, and I will second. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 12 is a street lighting agreement with Penelec. Attorney Caparosa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You may recall that the board at their April 8th, 2025 meeting previously approved an agreement with Penelec regarding moving forward with replacing all of the non-LED light bulbs in the public streetlights with LED lights. The board did authorize signing that agreement. There's been some transition over at Penelec, and so that does not appear to have been formally finalized by Penelec. So we've received a new agreement. It's the exact same one, it appears, that we previously approved in April. So recommendation would be just to reapprove moving forward with transitioning the non-LED lights to LED. I know we are still working through some of the details regarding the type of lighting, but other than that detail, I think we can move forward with approving this again.
Very good. Any comments or questions regarding this agreement?
I'll make a motion to approve this LED agreement.
And I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 13 is a sidewalk deferral request for 3334 West 40th, Anthony and Chloe Bizarro, developer. Mr. Waldinger.
Thank you. Good morning. Yes, Anthony and Chloe Bizarro are proposing to build a single-family dwelling at 3334 West 40th Street. This was the site of an existing house that has been demolished and a new house is being constructed. Currently, there are no sidewalks in the area. The owners have submitted a agreement for a sidewalk deferral on the township's standard form. As there are no existing sidewalks in the area, we do recommend approval of this deferral. Just as a reminder to the board and the public, a deferral does not excuse the installation of sidewalks. The owners are still responsible to build sidewalks. It just pushes that off into a future time when it makes more sense if sidewalks are built in the area or if the township was ever ordered to build sidewalks due to lawsuits or any other means, then the owners would be on the hook for building the sidewalk at that time.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the sidewalk deferral request?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
I vote yes. On to communications, Treasurer Communications.
Yes, actually, I need to clarify, sorry, the numbers that I gave you prior. I was reading the interest numbers off of the maximum amounts payable under the 3.3 general obligation note, which means if we borrowed the total 3.3 million that we are authorized and the maximum amount went up to the 8% annum that was read in the ordinance, that would be the $2.3 million in interest that we would pay. But looking at the fact that we are at the 4.18% for the first 5 years, then our maximum, based on that, because I do not I cannot predict 5 years and 10 years out. But based on that, we would be paying out $3.3 million in principal and $1,222,000 in interest. So the total borrowing would be about $4,522,000 in total principal and interest payments over 15 years.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Anything further?
I don't have anything else.
Okay. Moving on to promotion request, Public Works, we have a promotion in our streets department to foreman. Mr.
Thank
Puda.
you. Due to a retirement, the Streets Department is recommending a promotion for Paul Kleiner to Streets Maintenance Foreman. 6 internal applicants were interviewed for this position, and Mr. Kleiner was chosen. His rate of pay will be $31.48 per hour. His start date will be 9/15/25, which will allow for a 2-week overlap of training with the current foreman. And Paul was hired by Mill Creek Township in July of 2018. He worked in the Streets Maintenance Department 7 years, and as prior to that, he worked for PennDOT. I recommend this promotion of Paul Kleiner to the Streets Maintenance Foreman.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve this promotion?
I'll make that motion.
And I will second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes, and congratulations to Mr. Kleiner. Moving on to promotions within the fire department for the positions of captain, and representing Chief Cliff is firefighter Hicken.
Morning. On the recommendation of Chief Cliff and HR, they're recommending 3 personnel be promoted to the rank of captain with a $1 per hour added to their hourly rate. This would be effective today, 9/9/25 on approval. The 3 recommended for promotion are Matthew Flack, Gerald Hicken, and Ryan Kennedy, taking their total annual to $59,846.28 for Flack and Hicken and $58,106.26 for Kennedy.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the promotion of the 3 fire captains?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Okay, and I will second. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Congratulations. Moving on to hiring requests for the fire department. Captain Hicken.
Again, on the recommendation of HR and the fire chief, this would be to hire 5 full-time and 1 part-time firefighters. The 5 full-time would be to fill out the roster with 3 Kelly firefighters and 2 additional to be placed on their shift rotations. The full-time firefighters would be at a rate of $21.04 an hour, and the part-time firefighter at a rate of $18.15 an hour. All candidates have currently signed conditional offer letters and are conducting their pre-employment screenings, so these would be contingent upon successful completion of all pre-employment checks. Recommended for full-time are Maximilian Graceni, Ian Jaskowitz, Philip Widener, Garrett Weston, and Dylan Winger, and part-time is Parker Cernak.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions for Captain Hicken? Not, is there a motion to approve the hiring of these firefighters?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, and I will second. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. We have a hiring request for the police department. Chief Mook.
Thank you. We have 3 vacancies which were created by the retirement of Officer Wills and the resignations of Officer Mathis and Officer Cool. To fill these vacancies, the HR manager, Diane Lyons, the police command staff, and I recently completed interviews of 10 applicants from the most recent Mercyhurst University Police Testing Consortium list. On August 22nd, our top 3 candidates were provided with a conditional offer of employment. Each has signed and returned the agreement. The tentative start date for their employment is Tuesday, September 23rd. I recommend the board approve the hire of these 3 officers, Alexander Seib, Mark Regal, and Brandon Bowling, as probationary patrol officers. Their starting pay and benefits are set via the collective bargaining agreement with the Mill Creek Police Association.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions for the chief?
I'll make a motion to approve the 3 hires.
Okay, and I will second. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
I vote yes. Parks and Rec, fall seasonal. Ms. Marsteller.
Thank you. The employees listed before you are recommended to be approved for seasonal employment. These part-time employees are adult program supervisors, youth program supervisors, volunteers, and barn supervisors that will oversee the recreational programming during the fall 2025 session. These employees have been budgeted for in the Parks and Recreation operational budget and are recommended for approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
I vote yes. Travel and training requests, we have 2 for the police department. Chief, you don't mind do both of them?
Sure, thank you. First, there is an advanced sniper team leader training in Middletown, Ohio, November 10th and 11th, presented by Sniper Craft Incorporated. This company works in conjunction with the National Tactical Officers Association and is recognized as the leading organization in the development of best practices for sniper programs. I am recommending that Sergeant Mike Panaghetti attend this course. He is the lead sniper on our SWAT team. The course will teach best practices with the ultimate goal of liability protection and risk management. Tuition is $400. Hotel costs are estimated at $110 a night or $220 for 2 nights. Fuel is estimated at $50 and per diem cost is $187. The total training costs on this one are $857. Next, the PA Commission on Crime and Delinquency is hosting their annual Crisis Intervention Team Conference October 28th and 29th in State College. This conference is intended for crisis co-responders and police social workers with a focus on emerging trends, proven practices, and innovative approaches in crisis response. I'm asking for approval to send our police crisis co-responder Evan Daly to this conference. There is no tuition. Travel-related costs are $248 for a 2-night hotel stay, $203.50 for per diem, and an estimated $50 in fuel. Travel by department vehicle. The total travel costs are $501.50.
Thank you, Chief. Is there a motion to approve both of these trainings for the police department?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
I vote yes. Public Works has a travel and training request. Mr. Puda?
Thank you. I am seeking approval to send Jeff Tenney to the Transportation Engineering and Safety Conference in State College from December 10th to December 12th. This conference will help the traffic department stay up to date on best practices and aid in traffic and pedestrian safety throughout the area. Jeff will drive his own personal vehicle to the conference. The total cost for the conference, lodging, mileage, and per diem is $1,303.87, and the funds will be taken from the traffic training expense budget. I recommend approval to send Mr. Tenney to this conference.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
I vote yes. Admin has a training request. Ms. Clear?
Yes, I am requesting permission to attend the 2025 PA American Planning Association Conference that is held October 12th through the 14th in Harrisburg, PA. I will be joining Mr. Waldinger in this planning conference. And the early bird special price is $390. There may be additional fees for mobile workshops. I don't think Matt and I decided on anything yet. But the price for hotel and parking is $650, and the per diem is $258. I'm asking then for attendance to the conference. It would be $1,298, and it would come from the administration's training budget. So it is within our budget.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, and I will second. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Moving on to a fire police request, the MYAA Cross Country Championship. Captain Hicken?
Yes, it's been requested through the fire department for MYAA for their cross-country championship on October 11th, 2025. 11:30 in the morning till approximately 3:30 in the afternoon. They would like fire police assistance with crossing people at Stairtania Road between Asbury Walnut Creek campus to Browns Farm.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve this request?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
I vote yes. Executive session was held on August 25th. Litigation matters related to ordinance enforcement, right-of-way dispute, easement dispute, and state court litigation, public safety matters, personnel matters related to the fire department, real estate matters related to parks and rec facilities and public safety. On September 4th, personnel matters related to the fire department, litigation matters related to opioid settlement, tax appeal settlement, code enforcement matters, easement dispute, right-of-way dispute, state court litigation, real estate matters related to parks and rec facilities and public safety. Moving on to solicitor communications. Attorney Caparosa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The only item I have is in relation to the loan for the Shrine Club. My firm represents First National Bank, which is who we have the loan, we are seeking to have the loan with. And the bank is requesting that our firm be able to continue operating as counsel for the bank to finalize the loan. And so we are being asked by my firm, and the bank would also be signing a conflict waiver. This is not unusual with respect to matters at which we're not really adverse to, but we represent one another. So we'd be requesting that if the township is agreeable to sign off on a conflict waiver for purposes of FNB, MIJB being able to continue being counsel for the bank in the township with respect to the loan.
Okay. That requires action now?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the conflict waiver?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, and I will second. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay. That takes us to citizens to be heard. Anybody wishing to address the board?
Mr. Chairman, before we do citizens to be heard,
Yes.
can I just do a really quick announcement?
Sure.
Thank you so much. We have started a program at Mill Creek Township called High Five from the Public. And we have been getting all kinds of great acknowledgement of our employees. And I guess I just wanted to make sure we got to name them and get it into the record because, you know, we have almost 250 employees here in Mill Creek Township, and I think we offer some of the best services around, from our streets department, sewer, park and rec, community relations. So I'm just going to name a few here. One of them is Emily Dulesky. She is our front desk receptionist and clerk. She is the face everyone gets to see. She's the phone that picks up, and she does a fantastic job. She has had so many people recently, even last night, I had someone stop me and say how great Emily is. We have our streets department and the fine work that they are doing within the sewers, the manholes. They've been responding to different residents. We have our firefighter Shift B at Station 44 that was recognized, Monica Ziegler, who works with a lot of our elderly community. Patrolman Ben Steiner, I think Chief Mook talked about all the great work he's done before. Jason Nagel. Our first responders who responded to someone with a 911 call. He was attacked by a swarm of bees and couldn't believe how kind our firefighters were and our police officers. We also had a positive experience with wellness checks. A lot of our police officers do wellness checks, and we have had so many of our officers, as soon as that call is done, we get a call saying how kind our police officers were. So we have a lot of people that are going above and beyond, and I guess I just wanted to make sure that, you know, everybody knows that we have great people doing great stuff out there. So we'll continue to kind of recognize as we get groups of people in. So thank you. Thanks to all of our employees for providing such great service.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to citizens to be heard.
Again, I'm Candy Horn. I'm going to start my clock. Oops. Hang on a minute. Okay. I have a question about 1.2 million interest is a lot better than 2.37. What's your collateral?
I'm going to read it word for word.
I believe the collateral is the building.
Yeah, the collateral is the first mortgage and the assignments of rent on the property located at 2525 West 38th Street.
Okay, and so then if you don't make that mortgage payment, they can take the building back, right? As far as I know, I mean, like I tell you, I'm not a numbers person. I hate numbers. You do not do an adjustable rate mortgage because those rates can go up from 3% to 8% to 15%. It's kind of risky in my mind. So I would just like to make that point. And then I also want to ask you, this is about the fire department. According to your Mill Creek magazine, we have 27 full-time sworn firefighters and 14 part-time sworn firefighters. But according to an ad for the assistant fire chief, we have 30 full-time sworn firefighters and 13 part-time sworn firefighters. Numbers don't add up. And now you wonder why I get suspicious when all these numbers are thrown out that don't add up. I don't know what the answer is, and now you're asking for like, what, 5 more on the, you know. So I'm looking at numbers. Does anybody have any comments?
When the ad was, or not the ad, but when the article was put into the Mill Creek magazine, I believe at that point in time, we did have 26. And since then, several, I'm not sure how many meetings ago, the supervisors approved 4 additional. So there's going to be your difference between 26 and 30. The 5 that were approved today were not new additional on top of the 30. We have had several leave. And this is the hiring of the 4 that were approved, plus a replacement. So that's where we get the 5 for today.
Now, also with the Bell Valley, the study with the other firm that you are picking, where are they from?
They're from Maryland.
Can we not use a local firm and keep our money in town?
We did submit and issued a request for proposals for the project, and so people submitted those, proposals to the township for review, and based on that, I don't know who all we received proposals for, but after review and interview, this was the most qualified candidate that the board identified, and that the commission recommended hiring, based on their experience.
I look at Ballard Associates that did the Shrine Club. They're from Colorado. Specs are different there, and a lot of what they had, I don't know how they made their predictions. They didn't have a building inspection report. They didn't have a report on the cost of running the club, but then they predicted, oh, we can do this, we can charge that, and you find out. The one thing that was right in their report, they said the average citizen is either a baby boomer or a retiree. That was one thing I agreed with, but everything else was, I thought it should have been a company that was in town. And then I just wanted to bring up, last meeting, I had asked you, and I don't know if you remember the March meeting, when you told me, when I said there was 1.5 million paid to McDonald, Illigan, Jones, and you, Ms. Clear, said, no, you're wrong, your facts are wrong, kind of not calling me a liar, being very nice about it, okay? So I didn't get a slap in the face. However, the next meeting, Ms. Page brings up, those were the facts from the Freedom of Information. However, they were wrong, so we had to change them. So in effect, I'm trying to bring the truth out, and that is why, I brought that up. But I wonder, why did it take a year and a half? That money sat as income for Mr. Shaw or for McDonald, Illick, Jones. Why did you not catch it? Why did the auditors, well, we don't have an audit yet. Well, we do have 23 audit, right? They didn't catch it. And why did not McDonald, Illick, Jones's bookkeeper or whoever does their books catch it, you know?
If I may, with respect to the 1.5 million issue, that was how the previous treasurer had characterized it. That was not an issue, but Ms. Page issued that. That was just how the previous treasurer had characterized the payments that were actually the deposits for the 8th Street purchases. So that was a mischaracterization. It wasn't actually, it should not have been classified as income, but that was a determination by the previous treasurer. So, you know, what we get issued from the township for purposes of the 1099s, it reflects on our end. You know, we do check them, but they frankly aren't issued by us. I mean, that's how the township characterizes the income, and that was a mistake on the part of the previous treasurer.
But like Ms. Page said, she's not responsible for the audit. She can only give what they give her. And it's the same with him. He can only give what they give him. Like I said before, it's like genetics. You can't give something you ain't got. If you don't have the genetics for blue eyes and blonde hair, you're not going to give it to your kids, okay? And if you don't have the information you need to do your work, you can only give what is given to you.
And I think, as you said, the previous, or the audit from 2023 indicated that what was coming in and what was going out and what was being put into its places was not correct. And that's what the 2023 audit said, which was why we have a previous treasurer.
Okay. And I guess, I just have one more comment. You are all put here not by accident, okay? And there are people out here, people in the community that are depending on you to be the leader that you profess to be. And I, like I said, I applaud you for the work you do. I sometimes feel like wringing your neck sometimes, but I appreciate that it's a very difficult job. So I just, like I said, I continue to pray for all of you and that you will be upright, both physically and spiritually. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other citizens to be heard?
While Dennis comes up, I want to just make sure that I recognize the efforts and work Melanie has done to untangle the web and put us in a place where we know where we are financially. So thank you very much for everything you've done over the last few years, Melanie.
Apologize, I was late to the meeting, so if I repeat, I didn't hear all of what Candy said earlier. Question or clarification, if I may. The $3.3 million loan, that's a maximum. You don't have to borrow all of it, or do you?
For the ordinance, there needs to be a maximum amount and not to exceed. The same reason that it's showing also a not to exceed on the interest as well.
The reason the sale of the golf course, that money, if it's making 1%, I don't know if it's sitting in an independent separate account or Parks and Recs, is the intention to maybe use that funding to, instead of borrowing 3.3, maybe borrow 2 point something?
At this
To
point,
me, it would make no sense if you're making 1%
Correct.
and borrowing 5, 8, 10. That would seem silly.
we do have it in a high interest rate account that is earning, pretty close to the 4% at this point in time. So therefore, leaving it there, I thought made a little bit better sense. And we could use it then towards renovations, towards any other improvements versus using it towards the borrowing.
I kind of thought that, but some people don't pay attention to numbers the way I am. So that's why I wanted it kind of on record that you're not borrowing money to save money, to trip over money. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
And that's why I want, and the other thing I'm proposing though is that can we claw back maybe some money from the redevelopment authority that they're sitting on to help maybe pay for the Zemzem, because they have money in reserve, I think too much to help maybe, because it may be green development, but it is redevelopment. And they don't seem to be forthcoming with, I I know we're trying to keep things separate, and but maybe, I guess my point is, there again, I don't know what their money is sitting or doing, but maybe
Right.
redevelop the Green Zemzem property with some of the redevelopment authority's money to maybe not borrow so much money in the future.
I think
I
that's
don't know if
something
it's
we can
possible or
discuss.
not. I just throwing it out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Any other comments? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
Vote yes, and we are adjourned at 10:25.